Udupi, a small temple town in Karnataka, located along the extravagant beaches, is renowned for its diversified culture, seafood, and various art forms. Despite the hustle and bustle of the city life, people here usually lead quite a harmonious life. In this harmony and serenity, there are numerous stories which never see the light of the day. Stories that cannot be heard amidst the noise around. Stories of humanity, stories of inhumanity, stories of triumph, and stories of a man who is an embodiment of courage, faith, and justice. Stories of Dr. Ravindranath Shanbag. Dr. Ravindranath Shanbag, a visionary who runs an organization named Human Rights Protection Foundation, has been providing help to those in dire need since the last 40 years. He makes sure that anyone who knocks on his door in pursuit of justice should get it. He has been working selflessly for the people and enabling them to achieve justice. Over the years, he has solved over 38,000 of cases and still continues to do so consistently.
Human Rights Protection Foundation was started in 1992, and from there onwards, all the cases regarding human trafficking, regarding labor problems, and domestic violence, and atrocities against the senior citizens and children, all sorts of problems we started taking and guiding people. Our main objective was to start a human rights movement, and the second one was getting the justice to the aggrieved persons without getting into the court of law. We knew once you get into court of law, then it will take years to get the justice. So our idea was to have a negotiation, a dialogue with the opposite party, so that justice can be given without any delay. That was the idea. So there was no point in overburdening already overburdened judiciary.
India's system of justice, which is barely taking breath under the burden of thousands of files crying for justice. A system where 3,21,30,524 cases are pending in various courts. A system where 70,000 judges are needed and approximately 30,000 are working in current condition.
We have now about 38,000 cases already tackled for the last 40 years. And slowly we have developed the methodology, the principles, code of conduct for the volunteers, and now we are very clear about how to handle the cases outside the court of law.
Kunjabettu is a small area in Udupi, famous for Vaikuntha Baliga Law College. In the same place, Dr. Ravindranath Shanbag runs the Human Rights Protection Foundation. If you enter in the office at 10 o'clock in the morning, you will see Mr. Shanbag sitting in his chair wearing a simple khadi kurta, writing letters, finding papers, reading law books, attending hundreds of calls while keeping a warm smile on his face and welcoming all those who are seeking help. Korgas, an original community of Udupi, were struggling from the year 2000 to get minimum land from the government so that they shouldn't face the issue of migration. When they went to the officer with their demands, officials promised them land under the Integrated Tribal Development Program.
Basically, what we should understand, this particular land, South Canara, Udupi, and all entire coastal Karnataka belongs to Koraga community. They were here, they were the originals of this place. 10,000 years ago, there are records that, they were here existing in this place. Now, it has come to that level that they have to request for 5 cents of land for each of their family. So about 30 Koraga community families, they requested Udupi district administration to give them, sanction some land. So this was in 2010. So 2011, the land got sanctioned, and on August 15th, on Independence Day 2011, the land papers, is called Hakku Patra, record of rights, was given to them. And they were very happy that they can, within a month or month or so, they will get the land and they can build the house. But even after 1 year, they didn't get. They again went to the district administration, but nothing was happening. People did not even know where the land was. So it went on like that for 2, 3 years, 4, 5. Even after 5 years, they could not see the land. They were not even knowing which village they have been sanctioned land. But somehow in 2016, they came to know that the land was given to them in a Kondadi village near Hirarka.
As per the promise, in 2010, the government allotted 2 acres of land to the Korga community near Kondadi village. The land was completely unusable and in the middle of the jungle, a land where any sane person will not dare to live.
2018, just 1 or 2 days earlier to Independence Day, they came to our office and they asked, "Sir, can we help us?" I said, "How you want me to help?" They then said, "Sir, tomorrow we are going to have dharna, would you please come?" Then we came to know that these people do not know anything how to protest and how to communicate issues. So every year they used to give request, what we call in Kannada, it's called Manavi. See, it should have been Hakkotaya or Agraha. So they should have insisted for the land. It's not that they are doing some favor, district administration doing some favor to them. It was their right to get it. Even after 8 years, when they didn't get, we had to have a planning of how to proceed. First of all, we asked them, "You promise us that you will never go to DC's office." Next, we asked, "See, nobody is going to lead you, you have to lead yourself." So 2 ladies out of them, one is Subeda and another is Mahalakshmi, they were made Sanchalaka of or convener of that group, and Kondadi village Koraga community applicants association they formed, and classically they started correspondence. No visit to the DC's office. Ultimately, they came to know that the land was given, and even the survey number of the land they came to know. And instead of waiting for the DC to give them the land, they wanted to know what are the borders of this land. So they got hold of the village accountant. Our organization helped them. They identified the land, and now when all of us went there, it was a shock. It was a forest. Huge rocks were there, a lot of problems. There was no chance of converting that into house sites. Ultimately, it was decided that we are going to clean up the whole thing and we are going to have site ourselves.
ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ ಲೆಟ್ರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟೆವು DC ಅವರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಸಮಗ್ರ ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಯೋಜನೆ ಇಲಾಖೆಗೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ನ ಇಲಾಖೆಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟೆವು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ರೈಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಬರೆದು ಕೊಡಿ, ನಾಡ್ದು ಎಂತಾದರೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ. ಮನೆ ಬಿದ್ದರೆ ಪುನಃ ಮನೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ನಾವು ಸಹಕಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ಹಣ ಬಿಡುಗಡೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಅಥವಾ ಅದು ತಡೆಗೋಡೆ ಬಿದ್ದರೆ ಅದು ಸಹ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಲಾಖೆಯಿಂದಲೇ ಪುನಃ ನಾವು ಮಾಡೋ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಭರವಸೆ ನಮಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ, ರೈಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆದು ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ನಾವು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ ಒಂದು ಲೆಟ್ರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಈಗ ಕಾಯ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು DC ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟೆವು ಇಲಾಖೆಯ ಮುಖಾಂತರ, ಇನ್ನೂ ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನಾಗಬೇಕಮ್ಮ ಅಂತ ಒಂಥರ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು. ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಜಾರಾಯಿತು. ಹಾಗೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಹೇಳಿದೆವು, ಅಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ದೂರದಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಹೌದಾದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟರ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಗಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಿ ಅಂತ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಈಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಭಯ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು. ಅದು ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಹೀಗೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಒಂದು ನಮಗೆ ರೈಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆದು ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಸಾಕು ಸರ್, ನಾವು ಖಂಡಿತ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ದೂರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿ ಸರಿಲಾಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದದಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದು ನೀವು ಧೈರ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ಒಪ್ಪಿಗೆ ಪತ್ರ ಒಂದು ಕೊಡಿರಿ, ಎಂತಾದ್ರೂ ನಾವು ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಅಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು ಸರ್. ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ನೀವು ತಿರುಗಿಸಿ ಓದಿ ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಅವರು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಓದದ್ದೇನೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ರು, ಏನಮ್ಮ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಏನಾಗ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಓದಿ ಸರ್, ಓದಿದಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಆಯ್ತು ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ತೇನೆ, ನೋಡುವ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಲಾಖೆ ಸಮಗ್ರ ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಯೋಜನೆಗೆ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಆಯ್ತು ಅದು ನಾವು ಕೊಡ್ತೇವೆ ಅಮ್ಮ, ಅದು ಏನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾಳೆನೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೇವೆ, ಅದು ಒಪ್ಪಿಗೆ ಪತ್ರ ಕೊಡ್ತೇವೆ, ಕೊಡೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಅದು ಇದುವರೆಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. DC ಅವರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಲೆಟರ್ ಬಂದಿರಲ್ಲ, ಒಪ್ಪಿಗೆ ಪತ್ರ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ಇಲಾಖೆಯ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಷ್ಟು ವಿಷಯ ಇದುವರೆಗೆ.
ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಜಾಗ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಸಮಾಧಾನ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಇದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಈ ತಡೆಗೋಡೆಯ ಭಯ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ತಡೆಗೋಡೆಯ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸಿದಾಗ ಭಯ ಯಾವ್ದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ?
ಭಯ ಯಾವ್ದಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಇದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಿಡ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ದೊಡ್ಡದೊಂದು ಪಾದೆ ಇತ್ತು, ಆ ಪಾದೆಯನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದವರು ಈ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಗೆ, ಈ ರೋಡಿನ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದಿತ್ತು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಪಾದೆ ತೆಗೆಯುವ ಖರ್ಚು ಸಿಗತ್ತಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಮಣ್ಣೆಲ್ಲ ತಗೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದು ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೇನೆ ತುಂಬಿಸಿ ಮೇಲೇನೆ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ತಡೆಗೋಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ದು ನಾವು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಸರ್ ಹಿಡಿದು ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು ಗೋಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ತಡೆಗೋಡೆ ಕಟ್ಟುವಾಗ ಬಂದು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ಕಟ್ಟುವಾಗ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟೇ ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಈ ಸಲ ಮಳೆಗೆ ಅದು ತಡೆಗೋಡೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಹೇಳೋದು ಡೌಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬಂದು ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫುಲ್ ಬೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡೌಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು, ಅದು ಈಗಲೇ ಬೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ನಾವು ಕಟ್ಟಿರುವಾಗ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಈಗ ಮಳೆ ನೀರು ಬಿದ್ದು ಮಣ್ಣೆಲ್ಲ ಆಳಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಈಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಗೋಡೆ ಬೆಂಡ್ ಆದಾಗೆ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಹೆದರಿಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು ಈಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ನೋಡುವಾಗ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಧೈರ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆಗೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾವೀಗ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ, ಒಂದು ಒಪ್ಪಿಗೆ ಪತ್ರ ಕೊಡಿ, ನಾವು ಕುತ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದಷ್ಟೇ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಈಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇನ್ನು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮಳೆಗೆ ಅದು ಬೀಳ್ತದೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಗೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಹೇಳಿದಷ್ಟೇ.
When the authorities neglected their demand to level the land, tribals decided to cut the trees and make the land equal without taking any help from the government.
So Manipal University students were informed. They were requested, see such a problem, would you like to come over there and be volunteers to clean up this land? So one fine Sunday, the entire thing was done. The land was clean, and all that forest and other things were cleaned up. And then government was forced to prepare the layout. Even deputy commissioner came to the spot when this particular cleaning was done, and ultimately now they got the land. And probably within a month's time, they are going to start constructing their houses. And that's a real success story. And here also, what you can see, without any agitation, without any bandh or dharna or something, through negotiation itself, when people are aware of their rights, probably everything will be all right. This is a very good example for that. Thank you.
I searched the whole cupboards here. Whatever search I made, they are published in this book. Rather written, scribbled rather. not very systematically, nicely, decently. The red ones are the titles of the articles he wrote over a period of 10, 12, 15 years. This one. And the green and black portion is reference number and concerned persons, their names. In the process of preparing this list, I came across a fund of information, a treasury of information. What all a person can do in his lifetime for no benefit for himself. This is something, I cannot find in many people. Very, very few people are ready to do it. He has done so much for the Koraga community and so many others. I'm not doing anything great. I'm doing just routine work. Maybe typing something, translating something. I'm not doing any theorizing, evolving theories, principles, and all that great stuff I don't have, nor I want to do. I'm trying to do little help here and there to him so that his job is continued. I'm of little assistance to him. That's all my wish.
In all these 40 years, people from different sectors came in contact with Mr. Shanbag and joined the Human Rights Protection Foundation. All these volunteers and their own organizations create strong support for the victim to fight for justice. These volunteers work for victims without taking a single rupee from them. Mr. Shashidhar is also one of them. When Mr. Shanbag was working in Kerala on endosulfan issue, Mr. Shashidhar met him at first time.
ಶಶಿಧರ್ ಶೆಟ್ಟಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾನು ಮಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿರೋದು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಕುಂದಾಪುರದವ. ಬೈ ಬರ್ತ್ ನಾನು ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ನ ನಡುವೆ ಹುಟ್ಟಿ ಬೆಳೆದು 8 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟ್ರು ಗುಡ್ಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಡಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಶಾಲಾ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಂದು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಗದ್ದೆ ತೋಟ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದು ಶಾಲೆ ಕಲಿತವರು. ಬಾಲ್ಯದಿಂದಲೂ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ರವೀಂದ್ರನಾಥ್ ಶಾನ್ಭಾಗ್ ಅವರು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಪತ್ರಿಕೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆದಂಥ ಬಹುಜನ ಹಿತಾಯ ಸುಖಾಯ ಅಥವಾ ಬಳಕೆದಾರರ ವೇದಿಕೆಯ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ವಿ. ಆವಾಗ ನಮಗಷ್ಟು ಇವರ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಸರದ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕುರಿತಾದಂಥ ಇವರ ಪರಿಶ್ರಮಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಇವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ನಾವು ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಭೇಟಿ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ನಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನ ಸಿಕ್ತು. ಮೊದಲು ನಾವು ಬೀದಿ ಹೋರಾಟ ಅಂತ ಪ್ರತಿಭಟನೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಬೀದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋರಾಟ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ, ಪ್ರೊಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. ನಮ್ಮಿಂದ ಸಂಬಳ ತಗೊಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ರಾಜಕಾರಣಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು ಎ ಸಿ ರೂಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹಾಯಾಗಿರ್ತಿದ್ರು. ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಕೆಲಸ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬೀದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಬಟ್ ಇವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ನೀವೇ ರಾಜರಾಗಿ ನೀವೇ ಬೀದಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಿ, ನೀವು ಎ ಸಿ ರೂಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಕೆಲಸ ಯಾರು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಳ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಬೀದಿ ಕರೆಸಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಒಂದು ಗೈಡ್ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು. ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತು ಯಾವುದೇ ₹1 ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಯಾರ ಹತ್ರ ಕೂಡ ₹1 ಹಣವನ್ನು ತೆಕ್ಕೊಳ್ಳದೆ ಅವರು ತನ್ನ ಇಡೀ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಕಾನ್ಸರ್ನಿಗಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಮುಡಿಪಾಗಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಕೇವಲ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಜಸ್ಟಿಸು ಒಂದು ವೃದ್ಧರಿಗೆ, ಅನಾಥರಿಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ದೀನದಲಿತರಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇವೊಂದು ಪರಿಸರಕ್ಕೆ ಕೂಡ ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ತುಡಿತ. ಇವತ್ತು ಒಬ್ಬ ಶಾನ್ಭಾಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅವರೊಂದು 1000 ಜನ ಶಾನ್ಭಾಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೆಲಸನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
Right now I am practicing as advocate in Udupi Court. Meeting Shanbag sir is, I would say that it is 20-25 years ago, I guess. In locally we have Kannada newspaper called Udayavani. He used to write articles on that. So many social issues. I came to this college, started studying LLB in the year 2012, and my class used to be just next to this office where Ravindranath Shanbag sir's office is there. So when I was coming out of my class, I will see that free legal aid services, and I will see that Ravindranath Shanbag sir, everybody used to, they will talk. And after seeing so many files he has been working on, that is how I actually came to know what is he doing. We are here for some purposes to solve the problem. The person who has come here has some problem, has some issues. We need to solve it. Later that, after hearing the story or maybe hearing their version of facts, we will come to know that okay, this has to be sorted out by a legal side. Okay, this has to be sorted out from maybe somebody can give them a counseling. Okay, this has to be sorted out just by some documentation. So based on that, we will all work together. In front of me, I have seen that lot of people offering him money. You know, they'll come here and they will tell, sir, take this money, you have done this for me. He always says, no. It is not just because we are here. I have seen him that genuinely want to help people, not because of something in return. After working with him, I also realized that it is the happiness you get in your mind. It's not about money. You see, when the money comes now, you are restricted to, okay, 1,000 rupees, a certain amount, or something. But here, in return, you get that happiness helping somebody genuinely. Na? It is timeless, it is limitless. I see, I'm getting goosebumps.
Jacinta case was one of the very interesting cases of human trafficking we handled for the last 35 years. Jacinta, a widow from Karkala, she wanted to take care of her children's education. She wanted to give English education to them. So 3 of her children required, some 15 to 20,000 rupees per month. So she went on searching for a job. So one person in Mangalore, he said, I can get you a job. He was a traveling agent. He said, I can get you a job in Qatar. June 2018, she landed in Mumbai, and from there she was taken to Nepal, and she don't know where she has gone. Children all thought that she must have gone to Qatar, and every month they were expecting 25,000 rupees. But they did not get any money even after 1 or 2 months. Somewhere in November, they received a call at 2 o'clock night. It was an unexpected call, but it was not from Qatar, it was from Saudi Arabia. Jacinta told to children, I am totally cheated and I am landed in Qatar. So could you please ask the police to help me? I am a slave here.
ಹಾಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ನವೆಂಬರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್, ನನಗೆ ಅಮ್ಮನದ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಸುದ್ದಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿತು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಷ್ಟ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಹೀಗೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಮತ್ತು ನಾನು ಡಿಸೆಂಬರಲ್ಲಿ ಶಾನ್ಭಾಗ್ ಸರ್ನವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಡಿಸೆಂಬರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡ್ತಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಅಮ್ಮನನ್ನು ಹೊರಗೆ ತರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಪೊಲೀಸರಿಗೆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಪೊಲೀಸರು ಅಷ್ಟು ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೇಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಪೊಲೀಸರಿಂದ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟೇ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ, ಅವರೊಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆದಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ. ಅಮ್ಮ ಬರುವ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆ.
So they did not know, children did not know what to do. So they met the priest in their church. Even they did not know what to do. Even police did not know what to do. Ultimately they landed in our office. Even after 2 months, when police did not do anything, then we thought, we can search her in Saudi Arabia. So we have got a network in Saudi Arabia. More than 150 volunteers are working for this network, and they found out within 48 hours that she is in a place called Yambu. Yambu is about 1,300 kilometers away from Riyadh. So our volunteers approached somehow her employer, and they asked, how is that, she is not being given her salary. Then they came to know that the owner of that house, which she was working as slave, he told that he had purchased her for 5 lakhs rupees in an auction that took place in Dubai. So immediately we alerted the External Affairs Ministry. We asked the then Minister Sushma Swaraj, when we explained that this is a case of human trafficking and Indian Embassy has to help her. But we could not get any help because there was no chance of Government of India paying 5 lakhs rupees to get her released. We contacted our volunteers in turn. They negotiated with the so-called owner of Jacinta, and he agreed ultimately for 3.5 lakhs rupees he can release her. So we somehow got this 3.5 lakhs rupees from the person who had sent her there. In fact, we gave a police complaint explaining the whole situation. So police arrested him and he was put behind the bars. And she got released after paying 3.5 lakhs. See, here the idea was that not to release only Jacinta. We wanted to see that how that modus operandi works, how the whole thing is planned by these people. The girls will be taken from there to Nepal, from Nepal to Dubai, and the auction takes place either in Dubai or in Nepal. Any person who purchases her or the victim after paying 5 lakhs, and this is what's going to happen. And according to our estimation, still there are more than 30 to 40,000 human traffic victims are there in Saudi Arabia. That's what we believe.
For a science college, how the laboratory is very essential. For a medical college, a hospital is the sine qua non of a medical college is a hospital. Okay, like that for a law college, it is very, very important to have a legal aid, free legal aid office. This is a must, and I feel really proud to say that our college is the one and the only college which has a free legal aid, that is Human Rights Protection Foundation in our college. I proud to say that sir is with us. The crux of this institution is that they will make the people to find solution by themselves. Second one, I have found Jacinta, and her children used to come and they used to cry before sir, and how Jacinta came back. That is really, I have a big impact on my mind, how that's very important.